Hi, IY. Welcome to our first segment of IY Extra Time. Today we're speaking to our one and only youth pastor, Pastor Steve, about his journey of leadership and ministry. We hope you enjoy.
What up, IY? Welcome to IY Extra Time. I've got Pastor Steve here with me. We're just going to play some NBA 2K, and we're just going to talk about some leadership things. Extra Time is just this thing where we get to some extra time with some leaders in our church, or maybe outside of our church, maybe in the community. I just ask them a few questions about their life, their ministry journey, and just what they've been up to. So, how you doing, Pastor Steve?
Good. Play is not the right word. I think you're going to lose a bit of 2K, mate.
No, I don't think so. I think I'm doing okay. It's only 2-0 so far.
Wait for it.
And it is... Nah,
No.
You missed. Yeah.
Damn it.
Mud. So, how you doing, man? You good?
Yeah, good.
Awesome. I'm just going to ask you a few questions just about, yourself. I know our youth can be pretty curious about our pastors and where they've come from, what they've been up to. And, yeah, just to ask you a few questions about how you got to where you are,
Cool.
about how God called you into ministry and also called you to Australia and whatnot. So,
Yes. Yes,
oh,
he did.
and there it is, 4-0.
4-0.
Damn.
Yeah.
Bloody
Yeah. It's
Draymond
just like
Green.
when we play actual 101.
It's true. No, it's not. I always, not always beat you most of the time.
Whatever.
All right, cool. So the first question is, what would your key leadership tip be for young people as you steal the ball away from me?
Firstly, I think you got to be your relationship with God's key.
Yep.
Everything flows from that. Everything stems from your walk with God. So if that's not, where it needs to be, then I think your life will constantly be, you feel like you'll be constantly struggling through that. So, obviously we face different pressures and have different challenges, but, that connection with God, connection into church, into youth, into Sundays is hugely important.
Yep.
It's, everything flows out of that. So, I think that's the most important thing when it comes to anything, just living a good life, also with what God's called you to as well. So, yeah.
So that would be your key, leadership, just stay connected to God and to the house that you've been, planted in.
Yeah, definitely number one, 100%. But then I think too, you gotta continually be a learner. That whole thing of just continually being hungry to learn.
Yep.
Through different material, different books. Asking questions about good leaders and stuff like that who have been in it for a while, finding out what they do is really important as well.
Yep.
Never think you know it all, so you always got to have that desire and hunger to learn.
Yeah, fully.
Because leadership's always changing, it's always growing, it's always something that's developing. So it doesn't matter how long you've been in leadership, there's still stuff to learn. So
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And I guess a bit of a side note, if anyone has any questions about leadership or whatnot, Pastor Steve is my leadership go-to. The way he works with people, the way he cares for people, it's just awesome. And he does team really well. So anyone thinking about looking for a mentor, Pastor Steve's your guy.
Yeah. Are they going to pay what you pay me as well?
In coffees, maybe.
That's true.
It's a
That'll
2
do.
coffee minimum per catch-up. So.
Yeah, per catch-up, yeah. That's it.
So, and I'm, graciously losing to him in 2K right now, but not by much. I got a nice block on you before.
Did you? I missed it. I wasn't watching.
Yeah.
I was looking at the camera. That's why.
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh, I just got one on you.
Oh, no, that was
mad,
mine.
mate. It's
Yeah,
like you're three from the game.
The reboot.
Always contested.
Oh, so who is your, leadership go-to, or someone you really look up to?
Yeah, I've had different mentors throughout my journey. I remember as a youth, as a teenager, having key youth pastors through my walk that were strong mentors for me growing up. 12 to 13, 14-year-old, and having a key leader in youth ministry that we would hang out with and go and play sport together and different things like that. He was probably in my life for a year or two, and then connected with the youth pastor at that stage when I was more around my mid-teenage years, and then, and again, he just did the journey of life with me.
Yep.
Hung out heaps. We spent a lot of time together. Then I've had 3 youth pastors
Oh, yeah,
going
nice.
through my teenage years. But yeah, and then another one who, as my sort of late teens, and he would really ask me the hard questions too, like, why weren't you at church? What were you up to? And I'd be completely honest with him, but yeah, he would teach me leadership as well.
Man.
And so having those people who you can just model off.
Yep. That was really nice, by the way.
That was a good day.
Yeah.
Good transition basket right there.
Damn.
But John Maxwell's one too, who I've learned a lot from.
Yep.
Just reading his stuff. I like his style of leadership, and he's been one who lots of people would have heard, and lots of leadership materials, really built from. But I think he has a good balance of leadership and, allowing your team to to genuinely know that you care for them as a leader.
Yeah, right.
I've seen different leaders who, will ask you to do stuff and whatnot, but won't ever do life with you.
Yeah, true.
Seen plenty of leaders who, will like you while you're doing what they're wanting you to do, but, the moment that changes, it's like they just cut you off, and, that's not great leadership, I don't believe. And I like John Maxwell, he's very much, leadership flows out of relationship.
Yeah.
And so I think that's important. So he's got a lot of books about developing you personally as a leader, and then developing those around you who are leaders as well. So
Yep.
I think you got to find who's that person who's further on in your life.
Right.
So for young people, who's the person that you look up to, that they've got things in their life that you like, that you want to be like, that you want to model yourself off, and then ask them, draw from them, spend time with them, chase them up, follow them up to get time with them.
Yep.
All of that kind of stuff is really important, because we're all continually moving forward, as I said earlier. And so if we don't have somebody who we're drawing ideas from and looking up to about how they've done that journey, then, we've got to try and figure it out ourselves, which means that whole process of your leadership growth and development will take way longer than it needs to.
Right.
If you're doing the journey on your own, it might take you years and years before you become, a great leader. That if you've got someone in your world who's mentoring you, who you're going to, man, they can cut years off that process and that journey. So why do it? Why figure it all out on your own?
Yeah, true.
That's why God places people in our life.
Yeah.
That's why he says it's important for us to do it together. People too who you can just trust and be completely honest with. That's really important. If you can't be completely honest with that person, then they ain't gonna be that much of a great mentor for you.
Yeah, 100%. Because you only get out what you put in.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
and how prepared you are to be honest with them.
What was the other question I had?
I don't know, but I'm beating you 21-13.
Yeah.
So
It's half time.
And I'm not even concentrating, so I'm trying to think of what I'm saying.
Yeah, so if you haven't realised, I'm the Rockets and he's Golden State. So
Only number one team, Connor Egan.
yeah. We're not naming names here.
Oh, that's right. No naming and shaming. That's the worst thing about leadership. No naming and shaming.
Yeah.
Unless they know you love them, it's probably okay then.
Or maybe, we'll see. How long have you been in ministry for?
Too long.
Too long? Okay. Longer than most, eh?
Yeah. 20 years, I guess.
Yep.
Been, on church staff for, so about 14 years. So
Wow.
both in a part-time capacity and full-time.
Yep.
Ran my own business as well while I was part-time.
Like, how did you balance, I guess, ministry and your business at the same time?
Yeah, it's definitely got its challenges, because a ministry's not a 9-to-5 job.
Mm.
And in my case then, I think 2 days a week. But ministry is a 24/7. It's your life.
Yeah.
So if you feel you're called to go into ministry, then, you have to really be certain about that call, because, like I say, it's not something you can just switch on and off.
Yep.
It's very much your life. You don't leave it at home when you walk out the door at 5 o'clock. You still got to engage people and constantly think about how can you make it better and all that. And so, that's your challenges. And so when you're only part-time or volunteering, then there's always lots you want to do, but you just don't have time to do. And so it's just working out what's important, what's your priorities. Knowing that you're not going to be able to do everything. It's definitely a challenge, but when you're doing your ministry stuff, focus on that. When you're at work, focus on, make sure you get that done as well.
Yep.
I don't know, it always crosses over. So
Yeah, 100%.
some people stress out hard about it. I'm not too much of a stressy type, so I don't know. I found I could balance it all right. But
Yeah, nice. You said that you definitely have to make sure about that call.
Yeah.
How were you able to discern that it was definitely God's vision for your life?
always had a passion for it. I knew it was something I wanted to do, and again, I think that boiled down to that's what I was passionate about. When do you want to go to uni? Didn't want to do that.
Yep.
What do you want to do for work? Didn't really have anything that was really burning desire.
Yep.
But ministry was. Doing something for God was important. How that looked and how that was going to outwork, I had no idea. I knew I wanted to do something for God and you want to do ministry. We think of it, I guess, as that it's got to look like you're full-time paid by church. But, sometimes that's not always what ministry is. Not just that. Ministry is many things. It takes many different forms. So, obviously, for me, I was blessed to be able to get that opportunity to jump on staff. But God opens that door. I always say to young people who say they want to be in ministry, it's just take opportunities. Don't sit there, oh no, I only want to do this or I only want to do that. When opportunities arise, just jump into it. An opportunity arises to serve, an opportunity arises to lead in an area that maybe is not your ultimate goal to be in. So say you want to be a youth leader, but an opportunity to serving kids comes about, then do that.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what we were youth leading, and then Ali and I got married, and at the young age of 20, and
Yeah, wow.
and then always kind of felt like youth was our core and
Yep.
where we wanted to serve. But we when we got married, we stopped doing that, and then had an opportunity to jump into into kids. Sorry, there's a real need there. So we just wasn't passionate about kids. Didn't really want to do kids, but they needed someone to do it. So we just put up a hand and said yes. And then, 2 years later, we were running it. And then I think about 3 years into that, I was employed on staff as a kids pastor. So
Yeah, wow.
it worked through the avenue that I didn't expect it to be. Like
Yep.
I said, never thought it was going to be kids ministry, and like I said, wasn't passionate initially for it. And
Yep.
then God obviously gave us a heart for it. God just, He opens the door.
Yeah, 100%.
He figures it all out. We don't need to. We just need to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Keep saying yes.
This brings me to my last question. What would you say to someone who feels called to ministry? What would you say to them? What would be the advice that you would give to them?
Run. No, ministry is awesome. It is definitely an honour, but it's hard work. I think people easily see ministry as like a glamour job. You get to have coffee. You get to, I don't know, get opportunities to jump on stage in front of. Well, I don't know what it is that draws people really, but I think just be open to say yes to opportunities.
Yeah.
Because God will open doors that we don't expect.
Yeah, 100%.
His avenue for us to get into ministry often looks very different than what we think it will be.
Yep.
And so if our thought or view of how we want to step into ministry is only one way, then you might miss that opportunity, because God might have a completely different way for you to make that happen.
Yeah, right. Well, just like you said, you didn't expect to be doing kids ministry, and now you're kind of overseeing all 3 for Inspire, and have had experience of overseeing multiple campuses at your old church. So, it's just you were willing, and God was able to give you that opportunity, and that's mad. And it's obviously been a benefit to the people of the lives that you've impacted, and even here, like a lot of the kids love you and they look up to you, and leaders as well. So it definitely shows that if you're willing, then God will fully use you in big ways.
Yeah.
It just may not be the way that you expected it.
No, that's right. And so and I think too, not allowing things to affect you. I see so many people who end up allowing small things to really affect them. And then, you put a small thing, and then another small thing on top of that, another small offence on top of that, a hurt, pain, someone annoys you and you don't get over it, like all of that, it just ends up creating one big, huge mess.
Yeah, man.
And I've seen lots of people get taken out by that because they don't have thick enough skin.
Yeah, right.
They let too many things affect them.
Yeah.
And so, at times people will hurt you, recognise that, but deal with it.
Yeah. I mean, because you're working with people, and people are capable of crazy
People
things
let
at
you down,
times.
100%. Beat you in 2K. Tell everyone they beat you at one-on-one at basketball when they don't. All that kind of stuff.
I do at times get away with it.
No, you do. But you're a lot taller than I am, so you should be
Yeah,
winning.
that's true.
I just shoot threes, and then that's how I win.
We've got 40 seconds left in the half. Any passing advice as I shoot from halfway? Not to do that?
Don't shoot from halfway, Just have a deep hunger for God, deep passion for God to use you. Be prepared to do the things that will freak you out. If your dream doesn't freak you out, it's not big enough.
Yeah.
Be prepared to put in the hard work.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that this generation probably doesn't have necessarily, and that's obviously, generalization, but so you got to work hard.
Yeah.
Just be prepared to put in the effort.
Well, thank you, Pastor Steve. Really appreciate that.
Well, good man.
I appreciate the nice, gentle kicking I got in 2K as well. Thanks for watching.
47:30.
I know, you don't need... Anyway, thanks for watching IY. We hope you enjoyed this video. It's been a pleasure to have Pastor Steve. Stay tuned for our next video. We have a very special one for you.
Do.
See you later.
Cool. Later.
We hope you were inspired by that session with Pastor Steve. Our next session is with Pastor Tony Suarez from the US, talking about having a leader in your life. If you liked our extra time session today, then you can like and subscribe to our channel so that you can see more and behind the scenes.